In a gripping trial that left jurors speechless, a fiancé recounts the horrifying moment his lover from San Antonio was hacked to death. Imagine witnessing an axe buried into her skull, a chilling testament to a crime that shocked the community. Join us as we unravel the haunting story of Nicole Perry and the sinister events that led to her tragic end. Welcome back to my channel, True Crime Sam. Today we dive into the harrowing case of Nicole Perry. Our hearts go out to her family and friends during this difficult time. Nicole Perry, a young woman whose life was brutally taken by an unthinkable act of violence. Her fiancé's testimony revealed a night of unimaginable horror, where a machete and an axe became instruments of a gruesome crime. So, who was Nicole Perry? What led to her tragic fate? And why did Rafael Castillo commit such a brutal murder? Let's uncover the details of this chilling case. Nicole Perry, 31, was a self-reliant and strong-willed individual. Despite her strength, her relationships, particularly with her fiancé and the people she lived with, were fraught with difficulties. It is believed that Nicole might have been trying to escape a toxic or abusive environment, highlighting the precariousness of her situation and her need for help and protection. Though details about her physical appearance are unknown, it's important to remember that Nicole was a person of intrinsic worth and dignity. At the time of her death, she was living in a house on West Harlan with her fiancé and others, navigating a challenging and dangerous environment. Rafael Castillo, 27, stands accused of the brutal murder of Nicole Perry. Known to have a volatile temper, Castillo's actions suggest a deep-seated propensity for violence. On November 19, 2020, his rage culminated in an unthinkable act of brutality, allegedly sparked by a perceived lack of respect from Nicole. The environment they lived in was marked by chaos, with a revolving cast of drug-addled vagrants, further complicating the situation. Castillo's history includes previous brushes with the law, indicating a troubled past that ultimately led to this heinous crime. Despite the horror of his actions, it's crucial to understand the complexities of his character and the factors that might have contributed to his violent behavior. Rafael Castillo and Nicole Perry knew each other from when Nicole was staying with her fiancé and others at a house where Castillo often visited. Their relationship was tense, and things turned violent. Castillo became enraged with Nicole, tied her up with tape, and brutally attacked her with a machete and an axe. He even made others help clean up the crime scene to cover up what he had done. This extreme violence against Nicole led to Castillo's arrest and conviction. Nicole Perry was staying in a house on West Harlan with her fiancé and other people. A witness saw strange behavior at the house the day she was killed. Later that day, Nicole's body was found on the side of WW White Road, wrapped in trash bags. Oscar Flores, a worker with Bexar County Public Works, was asked to pick up trash on South WW White Road on a typical November afternoon. The area was known for illegal dumping. When Flores and his colleague arrived, they saw several bags. Two of the bags were especially hard to pick up, and one of them tore open. It took a few weeks to find out what had truly happened to Nikki. In early December, over a month later, a man named Rafael Castillo was arrested. The arrest affidavit revealed disturbing details about the crime. It was a typical November afternoon on the 19th of 2020 in Bexar County. The weather was mild, with a gentle breeze rustling through the trees, making it a seemingly ordinary day. However, the calm atmosphere belied the gruesome discovery that was about to unfold. Oscar Flores, an employee with Bexar County Public Works, was on his routine duty, tasked with cleaning up an illegal dumping site along South WW White Road. This site was notorious for being a spot where people discarded all sorts of trash unlawfully. As Oscar Flores and his colleague arrived at the site, they noticed several trash bags scattered around. The location, familiar to them, was littered with various debris, but today, something felt off. Among the numerous bags, two, in particular, caught their attention due to their unusual heft and resistance to being moved. Despite encountering heavy and bulky items before, these bags seemed different. While attempting to move one of the heavier bags, it tore open, revealing a sight that would haunt Flores forever. "I saw hair. Long, thin hair," Flores later recounted. At first, he thought it might be a dead animal, a common enough find in such places. However, the hair seemed too human-like, sparking a deep sense of dread. Further inspection revealed a silver necklace sticking out from the bag, confirming his worst fears. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Flores immediately contacted his supervisors, who then called the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. Upon arrival, the authorities opened the bags to discover a gruesome scene. Inside were various items, including a pair of shoes, cat litter, and blood-stained pieces of linen and napkins. The shoes had Nikki inscribed on them, and within the larger bags were two blue containers. These containers held the dismembered body of 31-year-old Nicole Perry, also known as Nikki. This discovery marked the beginning of an intense investigation to uncover the truth behind her brutal murder. The horrifying discovery at the illegal dumping site prompted immediate action from Oscar Flores. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Flores quickly alerted his supervisors about the disturbing contents of the ripped trash bags. The urgency of the situation was apparent, and Flores's supervisors understood the need for prompt intervention. They notified the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, initiating a swift response from law enforcement. Within a short period, deputies from the Bexar County Sheriff's Office arrived at the scene. Upon their arrival, they took charge of the situation, securing the area and beginning their investigation. The bags were carefully handled to prevent contamination of potential evidence. The authorities conducted an initial examination of the contents, which revealed the presence of blood-stained cloths, napkins, and items that raised serious concerns about the nature of the case. The forensic examination of the bags uncovered critical evidence. Inside, investigators found several blood-stained items, including pieces of cloth and napkins. The presence of these blood-stained materials suggested a violent crime had taken place. Additionally, there were items of cat litter, which, although not immediately relevant to the case, contributed to the overall context of the dumping site. Among the more chilling discoveries were a pair of shoes with Nikki written on them. This personal detail linked the items to someone known as Nikki, which was later confirmed to be Nicole Perry's nickname. The combination of these forensic findings pointed towards a brutal and deliberate act of violence. The next crucial step was the identification of the body. The forensic team carefully examined the remains found in the blue containers. Identification efforts involved comparing dental records, fingerprints, and personal items found with the body. The process was meticulous and required confirming that the remains belonged to 31-year-old Nicole Perry, known to her friends and family as Nikki. The identification was confirmed through multiple means, including the personal items such as the marked shoes and other forensic evidence that matched Perry's known attributes. This confirmation was a grim and sorrowful moment for both the investigators and Perry's loved ones, setting the stage for a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding her death. The breakthrough in the Nicole Perry murder case came in early December 2020 with the arrest of Rafael Castillo. Castillo, a 26-year-old resident of San Antonio, was taken into custody by law enforcement following an intensive investigation into the horrific crime. His apprehension marked a significant turning point in the case, as Castillo was identified as the primary suspect in the brutal murder of Nicole Perry. The arrest followed a series of investigative leads and interviews with individuals connected to the crime scene. Castillo's arrest was the result of both forensic evidence linking him to the crime and critical witness statements that pointed directly to his involvement. Once in custody, Castillo faced intense questioning from the authorities as they sought to unravel the full scope of the crime and the motives behind it. The arrest affidavit provided a detailed and chilling account of the events leading up to Nicole Perry's murder. According to the affidavit, Rafael Castillo had brutally attacked Perry using a machete and an axe. The document revealed that Castillo's violence was extreme and methodical. He had severed Perry's hands with the machete before using the axe to strike her in the head. The attack was not only brutal, but also deeply personal, driven by Castillo's anger and perceived disrespect towards Perry. The affidavit described the crime scene in horrifying detail. After the murder, Castillo forced two individuals, Randall Fulham and Vanessa Vargas, to clean up the crime scene. This involved not only disposing of Perry's body, but also ensuring that no trace of the violence was left behind. The affidavit detailed how Castillo threatened Fulham and Vargas to ensure their compliance, further underscoring the severity of his actions and the control he exerted over those around him. The case took a darker turn with the testimonies of witnesses who had survived the brutal attack. Randall Fulham, Nicole Perry's longtime boyfriend, provided a harrowing account of the night of the murder. Fulham described how Castillo had become enraged after an argument and proceeded to attack Perry with the machete and axe. His testimony included details of the violence he witnessed, including Castillo's methodical and gruesome assault on Perry. Fulham recounted the terrifying moments when Castillo first threatened Perry and then carried out the attack. He described how Castillo had taped Perry's hands before using the machete to sever them, and then used the axe to inflict fatal injuries. Fulham's account was not only a crucial piece of evidence, but also a deeply disturbing reflection of the violence that had occurred. Another key witness, Vanessa Vargas, also provided a statement about the events of that night. Vargas's testimony corroborated Fulham's account, detailing the aftermath of the murder and the cleanup process orchestrated by Castillo. Her statement included observations of Castillo's behavior and his threats to ensure that no one reported the crime. These witness accounts, combined with the details in the arrest affidavit, painted a grim picture of the crime and Castillo's role in it. They provided a comprehensive view of the violence inflicted upon Nicole Perry and the actions taken by Castillo to cover up his brutal crime. A few weeks after Nicole Perry's murder, Rafael Castillo was arrested in Brownsville. Castillo had been previously arrested in 2019 for suspected kidnapping, but the case was dropped due to lack of evidence. This time, however, he was found guilty for the murder of Nicole Perry. The district attorney highlighted how severe the crime was and emphasized the importance of holding violent criminals accountable. Nicole Perry's body was discovered in November 2020, wrapped in trash bags and abandoned on the side of WW White Road. Public works crews found her while picking up trash in the area. The arrest documents revealed that investigators were led to a house off West Harlan by a witness who came forward the day after the murder. They took 10 people from that house into custody. Some of these individuals gave the deputies detailed accounts of the horrific events. Nicole Perry and her fiancé were staying at this house. The affidavit stated that Rafael Castillo was a frequent visitor and had a confrontation with Perry that evening. It was reported that Castillo had bound Perry with duct tape. Witnesses told the police that she was still alive when Castillo used a machete to sever her hands. According to other witnesses, Castillo then struck Perry in the head with an axe. He reportedly held her fiancé at gunpoint and forced him to clean up the crime scene and dispose of her body. Castillo was eventually arrested in Brownsville a few weeks after the murder. Court records show that Castillo had a previous arrest in 2019 for kidnapping, but that case did not proceed due to insufficient evidence. After the trial, Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez made a statement saying, "This jury's verdict highlights the shocking violence that ended Nicole Perry's life and shows that those who commit violent crimes will be held accountable. The jury took just over an hour to decide and found Castillo guilty. The trial then moved to the sentencing phase. In court, it was revealed that Castillo had connections to the Mexican mafia. Friends and family of Castillo tried to defend him, claiming he was a good person who had never committed such a crime before. Ultimately, the jury sentenced Rafael Castillo to 70 years in prison. Nicole Perry's death will likely have a significant impact on the community, both locally and beyond. The loss of a young life can deeply shock and sadden people, causing emotional pain and a sense of vulnerability. The brutal nature of Nicole's murder might make the community feel more fearful and anxious, especially women who might feel more at risk of violence. This senseless tragedy could lead to anger and a strong demand for justice and measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. The community might come together to support Nicole's family, friends, and loved ones during this difficult time. This tragic event could also raise awareness about issues like abuse and domestic violence, highlighting the importance of seeking help and support. It might educate people about recognizing warning signs of abuse and the resources available to those affected. Nicole's death might inspire the community to come together and create a lasting tribute to her memory. Nicole's death is a painful reminder of the serious nature of domestic abuse and the need to support those affected by it. The case underscores the importance of fighting for justice and ensuring the safety of abuse victims. The murder of Nicole Perry highlights the grave consequences of spousal abuse and violence. Castillo's horrific act serves as a sobering reminder of how serious these situations can be. It's crucial to recognize the warning signs of domestic abuse and provide help and resources to those in need. Nicole's story serves as a reminder of the importance of advocating for the rights of abuse victims and ensuring they receive justice and protection. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse or violence, remember that support is available. Contact organizations like the National Sexual Assault Hotline. No one deserves to be a victim of abuse, and it's our shared responsibility to build a safer, more respectful, and dignified society for everyone. That's all for now. I hope you found this discussion helpful and informative. If you have any more questions or topics you'd like to discuss, don't hesitate to ask anytime. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to True Crime Sam for more in-depth coverage of chilling true crime stories.